Hi, let's jump on this for a moment. Today I was viewing something on social media and it appears quite interesting from my perspective, okay? So I was viewing it, but while viewing it, I heard in my spirit, I'm waiting at the end of the masquerade. Masquerade, the word masquerade stuck out to me, so I went to check the meaning once again. Because I know masquerade is a false show or pretense, okay? And it speaks literally to wearing masks, like masking something. But the Merriam-Webster dictionary say here to us that a social gathering of persons wearing masks and often fantastic costumes. Okay, a costume for wear at such a gathering, meaning a depicting, they are portraying what is expected to be manifested or displayed at the gathering. So it's like you wear a costume for matrimony or for carnival or whatever, but within the costume, they're depicting different sector or whatever. Okay, so. And as I continue to press in, the Lord began to show me that a lot of times we get involved in doing things literally that He has not sanctioned in. We're being drawn away with our own lust and entice. By our own lust and entice. Why? Because we're functioning from the place of our souls. Okay? What feels good, looks good, and tastes good, and might have a few approvals from people or persons, and we feel that it's approved, but it's not God approved. So a lot of times we do things that God has not sanctioned in. Okay, basically if the Lord is saying that He's waiting at the end of the masquerade, it is simply saying that He is waiting for the masquerade to be true, meaning that the flesh would work its way out. Everything that is from the source of flesh and not from Him, He's waiting for it to finish. When it's worn out, when it's true, when it's done, He is going to show up. Because the Word of God declares that He will not share His glory with flesh. He will not share His glory with flesh. No flesh will glory in His presence then. Okay? So the reality is, we have to be careful in the things we do and what we're doing, what we're involved in. Because not everything that looks good, quote unquote, that it is sanctioned by God. I've discovered that a while, okay? Because from our natural standpoint and our perspective, okay, we want to fit God in it, but God will not be fit in what we want to fit Him in. We can only fit into what God is doing or what God desires for us to do and He is interested in. We can never fit God in something that He has not sanctioned in. Okay, and this we must understand. So we need to come to the place whereby we understand when we are functioning from the place of our soul or it's our spirit, and if God is in it. Because we're being drawn away a lot of times by our own lust and entice. And we feel it's God. And it looks good because a few compliments might come along the way and okay, might come along the way, but God is not in it. And that is the sad part. I just remember something about my personal life and I wish to share it as a reference, an example to show us how we function from our souls sometimes and we think that God is in it. I remember the very first time I went to the US Embassy to get a visa. My motive was wrong. And God had not sanctioned. I prayed, I fast, just name it. But the very morning before I got up to go to the embassy, I saw in a vision all of the papers flushed down the toilet. So when I opened my eyes, I just knew I wasn't going to get you. Okay? But I went anyways because I would have already paid and I had my appointment. So I went. And to add to that, Sister Udan and myself was going, and she said the Lord revealed to her that I wasn't going to get you. But she didn't share it with me. She waited. The other thing is, when I was disappointed, I was denied They give me a letter saying that you can apply again in the next 21 days, within the next 21 days. I did, and I was denied. Before I received my denial letter, I dreamt, I saw it clear that I was denied. I say this to say to us, at that time, I was functioning from the place of my soul. I was drawn by my own lust and entice. Everybody going to the US, and it looks good, and I wanted to go, and I was thinking God was in it, but God proved to me was not in it, because he allowed me to be rejected and denied both of the times. So God was not in it, but I felt that this was good to do, because from my perspective, it felt good. Because everybody was doing it, so it felt good. I said to the Lord, I will not be going back to the U.S. Embassy until he said to go. And that exactly happened. I went 10 years later, the Lord said to me, I should go. And when I went, I got through quite comfortable. No pressure, no sweat, no stress. I got through. Okay? I said all of this to say that we need to be able to see and have an understanding and decipher when we are functioning from the place of our soul or from our spirit, and where God is involved. Because we cannot fit God in our plan or into our plan. He will not be fit into our schedule and our plan. So we must be willing to flow with his plan and his agenda. Okay? While they are pressing in with the Lord, as I was inquiring of the Lord with relation to what he said. So the Lord took me to 1 Corinthians chapter 1 from verse 27 through to 31. But I'm just going to read a few verses here. But God has selected for his purpose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, and revealing their ignorance. And God has selected for his purpose the weak things of the world to shame the things which are strong, revealing their frailty. Verse 28. God has selected for his purpose the things insignificant, base things of the world, and the things that are despised and treated with contempt, even the things that are nothing, so that he might reduce to nothing the things that are. God in his wisdom, because he is wisdom, okay, he selected the base things, the low things, and the things that are insignificant for his purpose. And he would use those very things to shame the things that are wise or consider themselves wise or appear to be wise, because God is wisdom. Okay? To reveal their ignorance. God is wisdom. When we embrace Christ and we live the way he expects us to live, the revealing of our lives is the wisdom of God. Because God is wisdom. The manifestation of God in our lives express the wisdom of God literally. Okay? Because God is wisdom. And he's going to use the foolish things of this world in this hour to reveal and expose the things that are strong and the things that are. Okay? Because God is expecting us to be the light. So only where he is embraced, his light will shine. Okay? And in such a magnificent way. Because he himself, by his spirit, is at work. So that he can be lifted up in the earth. So whatever God has not sanctioned in, he will not manifest himself in a magnitude that it can be made evident and known. That is why we have to pay attention. Because in this hour, the laborers are few, but the harvest is plentiful. And God desires for his name to be lifted up in a manner that men will see his good works and glorify him and be drawn to him. Because when he is lifted up in the earth, he's going to draw all men unto himself. That is when men begin to see. They can identify that this is of God or this is God, and they will be drawn to him.